Hi everybody, my name is Mark Jacobs and I am the co-founder of City State Entertainment. I want to welcome you to our project. It is called Camelot Unchained. Some of you may know who I am. In the past, I've made such games as Dark Age of Camelot, Warhammer Online, Dragon's Gate, Aliens Online, Splatterball Online, and on and on. With myself and my co-founder Andrew Meggs, who worked with me at Mythic, but who also worked at Troika and Bethesda and was responsible for Skyrim, as well as working with us on both Camelot and Warhammer, we present to you the next generation RVR-focused, massively multiplayer online role-playing game. Over the course of this video, I'm going to tell you all about Camelot Unchained. I'll tell you why I think it's going to be a great game. I'm going to talk to you about the races, the classes, the progression system of the game. I'm going to talk to you about so many things, and after that, I'm going to show you some of the tech we've been working on just over the last 3 weeks. Hopefully, when that is over, you will agree with our almost 10,000 backers when I'm recording this video who have decided that they want to help support Camelot Unchained. And I hope you will join us in what will be a great adventure. So thank you very much for your interest, and I thank you in advance for your support. What is Camelot Unchained? Camelot Unchained is an RVR-focused MMORPG. Now, what does that mean? It means that this game is going to do one thing incredibly well. That is realm versus realm combat. Realm versus realm is a trademark of Electronic Arts. However, RVR, I can say. RVR is when players of a certain realm go out and do battle with players of other realms. In this case, 3 realms. We're calling it the Tri-Realm system, mainly because, again, realm versus realm is a trademark of Electronic Arts. Tri-Realm, on the other hand, is ours. And in this game, you're going to go out as a member of either the Arthurians, the Vikings, or the Shi, which has become a bit of a meme as I try to mispronounce once again the Tuatha De Danann. 3 realms engaged in a life and death struggle for territorial conquest, to rebuild a shattered world. That is what Camelot Unchained is. But it is even more than that. We have a next generation crafting and housing and building system, and you'll see videos on that. Imagine the best Lego style game you've seen, whether it's Minecraft or other games that are using a very similar technique. We are putting that into this game as well. So when you go out into the woods, when you grab your trusty spear or your staff or whatever you use to do battle, you're not going to be destroying structures of the other team that we have built, we meaning CSE, but rather that you and your crafters have built. Your own towns, your own homes, your own cities, that's what you're going to be defending. And that's one of the things that sets Camelot Unchained apart from any other MMORPG. That's what we're presenting to you today. The backstory of Camelot Unchained is unlike most typical fantasy games. This is a post-apocalyptic world. What has happened is an extinction-level event has hit this world. The veil was pierced. The veil is this living, sentient being. It's not an interdimensional bit of detritus. It is this entirely new and interesting construct, something that is part dimension, part living creature. And it was pierced. And let me tell you, when it was pierced, it was pissed. And that piercing, its anger, formed together this incredible, oh God, vortex of power that poured through another dimension, through the veil, into our world. And our world was leveled. I mean, we're not talking about a few new screen doors. We're talking about leveling everything. Civilizations crumbled, continents went underwater, everything bad that possibly could have happened, happened. This is the world that you, as a player, will start on. A world that, when that magic poured through the other dimension and wiped out our civilization, it also created what I'm calling the Veil Storms. The Veilstorms are part magic, part, well, storm. And when they swept across the world, changing it and destroying it, it also brought back legends. It brought back creatures. It brought back people. It changed humanity. The effects of these Veilstorms were just beyond imagination. Destruction, but creation as well. And what arose from this were three very distinct realms. The first realm are the Arthurians. Second realm, the Vikings. And the third, again, are the She, or the TDD. Each of these realms is led by a brother who passed a test that was put there by what we're calling the emissaries. See, the emissaries come from this other dimension. When the veil was pierced and magic from their world flowed into ours, they saw what was happening to our world. And after staving off their own world's destruction, they came to help us. And when they helped us, they helped stabilize the world. They helped bring it back from where it was, which was on the verge of total extinction, to where it is today. And part of that was the test and the arising of the three. And when these three brothers passed that test, they were changed. One became Arthur. Another became Sigurd. The third became the leader of the TDD. And the reason I'm not talking about him now, I'm going to talk about him another time. These three leaders then fought, not just because they were brothers, but because their ideals and their expectations for saving this world were different. The Arthurians want order. They believe in technology. The Vikings in conquest. They want to destroy, go out into these lands that are still left, kill everything that has been changed, whether you call it an abomination, whether you call it a mutant, whether you call it just some other name. They want to conquer and they want to create new lands. The TDD, they believe in nature, and they want to reestablish a world where nature is supreme. They want to step back from civilization. They want to step back from the technology that our old world had. That is the basic backstory of Camelot Unchained. And as a player, you will choose which realm you believe in and which realm you want to fight for. And which realm, well, hopefully that realm you'll be playing for many years. So I've said that there are three major realms. Once again, the Arthurians, the Vikings, and the TDD. Each of these realms will have at least 3 races at launch. We make our first stretch goal 4. All of our races are unique. There are no mirrored races in this game, just like there are no mirrored classes. What we've shown you so far is a fully animated, fully rendered, textured, rigged, with an attack cycle and a walk cycle of a TDD, a Viking, and what we're calling the Strip. Arthurians, actually, today is Sunday, and when I'm recording this, one of our artists, Michelle, is working with our backers on a concept for one of our Arthurians. These races will be a mixture of human. Each realm will have at least one human race. A second race will be a combination of human and of the magic from the Veilstorms. And the third will be a creature from a legend. Will be something that we will take from the backstory, from the lore of all these 3 great realms. And like I said, each race will be unique. That is the key. No mirroring here. We're going to give them real abilities, real stat differentials. We want to make your choice hard. We don't want you to look at our races and go, well, I can play that one, I can play that one. They're the same anyway. No, all of them will be different. And not only will they be different at launch, they're going to stay different. That is part of my promises. One of the things I've said about during what I'm calling my foundational principles for this game, and what I'm promising our backers. Unique races with special abilities. Please check out our other videos and you'll see these races not only through a modeler, but also in the videos that show our game. You've heard the basic story for Camelot Unchained. You've heard its lore. You've heard about the realms. Now I want to talk about what is probably the most important aspect of this game to most players: the RVR, or Tri-Realm Combat. After all, if you're coming into this game to do battle, you have to know about the battle. You have to know why you're going to do battle. You're going to have to know why it's important not only for you to win these fights, but what you're going to get when you do win them. So let's start with the core concepts. 90+%. We don't know yet because we obviously haven't mapped out the entire world, but I think it's probably going to be something like 95% of the world, at least, is going to be an open world for our VR. We have some safe areas. We have to. For a new player to come into the game, they have to start it in a safe area. So each realm will have one major city. That city will be safe. The reason it's safe is actually part of the backstory for this game. In order to prevent the damage of the Veil Storms from wiping out their new cities, each of the three brothers raised mountains around their cities. So these cities are all protected. Now, all of these cities, of course, have now started to outgrow themselves. They are too many people. Why are there too many people? Well, actually, there is no death in this world. You can essentially be immortal if you don't run into certain accidents, which of course players won't, but your immortality has come with a price, and that population pressure on each of the cities has now pushed and forced these three brothers and their realms to do battle. And where are they going to do battle? That's in, again, over 95% of the world. So when you go out into this world, you are going to go out into a world that has been destroyed. You're going to have to rebuild it as players. And once you rebuild it, or as you rebuild it, you're going to be doing battle with other players. Why are you going to be doing battle? First, for resources. Scattered throughout the world are mines. These mines are in what we call bubbles, underneath the surface of the world. These bubbles are not instanced. They're part of zones. Again, not instanced and part of zones. So you want to hold them, because when you hold them, you get resources. And these resources are important for your crafters. Another reason, crafters can create very powerful devices called stabilizers. These stabilizers help protect the land from the Veil Storms. They also, as we've talked about just recently, allow your realm to not only take over and control another realm, but to change the terrain of these lands, so it more resembles the terrain of your home realm. Third reason, the more you conquer, the more you get, meaning the more land you get. Fourth, with the more land you get and the additional resources, you can build bigger buildings. You can build real forts and towers and keeps and all the other structures that your crafters, as well as with the help of you non-crafters, can dream up. And so you're going out every night and you're going to fight. You're going to struggle. You're going to get to burn down other people's structures, or keep them if you want, and control them. You're going to get to take over this work that the other side did and make it yours. And you're going to spread your culture, because that is what's driving each one of your three realms. None of them are evil, but all of them want to win. And it's up to you. Can you come in and be part of a realm that can conquer? We're going to give you that opportunity. When I was talking about RVR earlier, I didn't have a chance to mention a really exciting concept we have here. They are called souls. And this is one of the things that will set the RVR and Camelot Unchained apart from other games. Now, normal looting, normal ways to get materials from players maybe. We've talked a little bit about that in some of our other updates. But this is special. When you defeat another player, you'll have a chance to capture some of his or her essence, some of their very soul. This soul becomes a commodity for you. You can use it, frankly, to trade. You can use it to enhance your items. You can give it to crafters and they can do things with it. Putting it in one of your swords or in your armor, or again, using it to build up something even more powerful, also allows you to track this player a little bit. So when you go into RVR, you'll know who he is. On the other hand, he will also know who you are. And that's where it gets even more interesting, because this player is going to want to get it back, and he can put bounties on you to try to get it returned, because that's important to him. You, on the other hand, you want to keep it, and you want to get more, because the more you can get from him, even better. And this soul, again, is a commodity. You can have it distilled, so it can be used for, realm-based items. You can use it in other ways that we'll talk about as we refine the system. But what it certainly is another very unique idea for Camelot Unchained, and gives our RVR players something else to fight for. Because after all, getting a little sack and maybe some equipment, that's been done a lot. Getting a bit of a player's soul and being able to do things with it, as my son would say, that's fresh. Our leveling system in Camelot Unchained is not going to be a fast one. I don't want a progression system where you can level out your character in a week or even a month, and neither do the backers of this game so far. We've talked about this game as being an old school game, and that's what it will be. However, one of the things that is very different about this from most old school games, it's going to use a horizontal and not a vertical progression system. Now, what does that mean? A vertical progression system is what is used in almost every MMO out there. You've seen it. You start at level 1, you go up to level 50, or level 60, or level 200, because it really doesn't matter. Your hit points go up, or your stats go up. Your spells could be like Fireball 1, then Fireball 2, then Fireball 3, etc. And the problem with that, it creates a situation where high-level characters are so much more powerful than low-level characters that the low-level characters, frankly, can't even go out to combat, because if they do, somebody's going to sneeze at them and they're going to die. A horizontal progression system, on the other hand, is very different. Instead of going from 1 to 50, you're going right and left. You're adding skills, you're adding abilities, you're adding all different things to the character that may not be a lot more powerful or may not even be more powerful. They're different. They give you other options. And that means that when you come into this game as a low-level RVR player, you'll have a chance out in the battlefield against higher-level characters. Now, if somebody's been there for a year and has the best gear and is very high in terms of, or very wide actually, excuse me, in terms of their progression, are they going to beat you? Yeah, they will. But they're going to have to beat you with a little bit of effort, and maybe even a lot of effort if you're good. And that's one of the keys with the horizontal system. It gives you a chance to show how good you are. Because it doesn't matter in a vertical progression system. If you go against a high-level player, you're dead. And there's nothing other than cheating that will prevent that from happening. In our system, it will be different. It has to be different, because we want all of our players into RVR right from the beginning. Camelot Unchained is not just about RVR. It's also about crafting and building. Now, what's important to know, crafters and builders are an intricate part of RVR. For you see, we have a totally player-driven economy. And by totally player-driven, I mean totally player-driven. There are no loot drops from NPCs. There are no tokens to get from NPCs. Everything that your side is going to need, other than the starting armor, of course, because frankly you don't want people running out there naked. All of that has to be built by your made by your crafters. All the structures in the world, those have to be built or rebuilt by your crafters. So what are you going to be doing differently in this game than you can do in any other game? Well, our building system, for one, it has a lot more in common with games like Minecraft than it does a game like, I'll say, Dark Age of Camelot. You are given the tools, you are given the resources, you're given what we call cells, which are equivalent to blocks but smaller and a lot more flexible to build these structures. You can use these cells to create what we're calling prefabs. These prefabs will allow you to build your structures faster. Plus, you can then take these prefabs and the cells and combine them into what we're calling blueprints. These blueprints will allow you to not only build your house a little bit better, a little bit stronger using them, but you can share them with other people. You can sell them to other people. You can submit them to us. And if we like them, we'll put them into the game and your name will be on it. And that's where the crafting system as well comes in. We have founders marks. We also have creators marks on items. So people will know when you, as a crafter who was a backer of this game, you will have a special mark on your items. And where we want to go with our crafting system is very, very, very deep. Once again, a horizontal progression system versus a vertical one, which I'll talk about in a little more detail later. But it is very important for our crafters to know we want you to be the only folks who can craft almost every item. You won't have to worry about competition from the game, from ourselves. And the other thing to keep in mind, you folks are going to have to spend time leveling your crafter. It isn't going to be easy. It's going to be like RVR in the sense that it's going to take time. But the good thing about it is you don't have to worry about spending weeks or months on leveling your character and then somebody coming in, dumping a whole lot of cash on a new crafter character, and then being the equivalent of you. That's just not going to happen. This system isn't designed for that. You have to spend time. It's not a question of just putting money in. They would have to spend the same time that you did, even if they had an advantage, such as success from another character. So those are some of the key elements of both the building system and the crafting system. And I want to talk more about the crafting system in another update. But what I can tell you now is we are looking at giving you more options while you craft a weapon, frankly, than either every other game or the vast majority of MMOs we've looked at. We want to give you control over that item. Not just, is it a, say just quality, but other very important things as well. We want to give you the ability to make things different. We're also going to have critical successes, and yes, unfortunately, some critical failures. That when you make this item, you might get the equivalent of what they used to call the 1 in 1,000 Winchester from that movie Winchester 73. That's the sort of thing we want to give you. We want to make our crafters important because they have to be. Same with building. It is one of the 3 pillars of gameplay for this system. And I think if you give it a chance, you'll find that crafting in this game is quite different from every or almost every other MMO that is out there. Our first big stretch goal for Camelot Unchained is the depths. What is the depths? The depths is an RVR dungeon unlike any I or anyone else I've seen has ever done. Yes, it has a core concept similar to Darkness Falls, but that's where it ends, because the depths is RVR focused. This is not a PvE dungeon, this is an RVR dungeon. This is something that when your side gets access to it, you get access to mines, you get access to forges, you get access to all sorts of really interesting things down there, special recipes for your crafter, the lore of the world. You also get access to the Veil. And that is really interesting. And what happens down there is very different. Because you see, the depths is not some musty old dungeon. This is more like something out of H.R. Geiger and H.P. Lovecraft rather than J.R.R. Tolkien. This is a scary place. We want it to be terrifying to the players. We want it dark. We want it mysterious. This is not, again, oh look, you turn right here and you turn left there. It's not that kind of place at all. So the depths, because of the Veil, is alive itself. And it is not happy either that you're there. So it will fight you. It will send out its creations against you. So yes, there is some PvE there, but here's a twist. When you lose control of the depths to another realm, if you're within the depths, you can choose to sacrifice yourself and become an NPC. You can become everything from a pesky poltergeist to one of the aberrations in the game. You can also become a boss. So wouldn't that be cool? Haven't you ever wanted to be Godzilla? I know almost all of us have at some point. And that's what some players are going to be able to be. You're going to be able to play one of the bosses in the depths. You're going to be able to go in there and actually spend your time smashing on other players. But the depths is even more than that. As you can see from the concept art that's flashing behind me, this is not a simple dungeon. This is not just twisty little passages. This is crazy architecture where your crafters get to come in and lay traps. All sorts of traps. They will be protecting the depths from the other team, while of course the depths is also trying to protect itself. And the best part of all this, even if you lose your realm, your crafters can put up the equivalent of cameras. Right now we're calling them bobs that are in the depths. And when you lose, you can retire to one of the inns, maybe one of the inns that you even own, and watch what's going on in the depths. Because look, losing is never fun. On the other hand, if you lose the depths and you sit back, have a beer, and you watch the other side wipe on your traps, as you watch them getting catapulted into pits and eaten alive, as you watch flames, shoot up from everywhere and, envelop and turn players to ashes, that's going to make it a bit better. The depths is unlike any other dungeon I've seen in any other MMO, period. I think you guys are going to like it. It's going to be a heck of a lot of fun here to create it for you. Kickstarters are interesting things. People can put up concept art, sometimes nothing more, and raise a lot of money. Other studios can show fully working prototypes. Other studios can show, at times working games because they're more like kick finishers than Kickstarters. Nothing wrong with any of these things. That's what Kickstarter is here for. What we're able to show you, what we have showed you over these last 3 weeks and will show during the last few days of this campaign are very interesting. It boils down to two big things. First, obviously our building demo. If you want to see what building is going to be like in Camelot Unchained, we have 2 videos, 2 even, that show improvement with the system, and hopefully we'll have more. It shows how you can quickly put together a house or a wall or other things. It shows you how interesting that system could be for you, the player. But the other demo, that's even more exciting, because that's our own engine. And one of the things that we had to decide, like any developer has to decide, is what tech to use. Are we going to build it in-house, or are we going to go out-of-house? This game relies on large-scale, epic-scale RVR battles. We can't have a 30-on-30 fight and call that epic. We can't have a 50-on-50 fight and call that epic. We need to do much better than that. We need large-scale battles and we need sieges. And we looked at some other engines, and they're great engines, but they're not what we need. We need an engine that's designed to do one and one thing only, and that is to maintain a high frame rate even in large-scale battles. And that's what path we are following. Andrew Meggs has put together an early build of the engine. He's been iterating on this engine with the help of our team for the last 3 weeks. And if you go into our videos or you see our live streams, this is not just a few guys running around. We are now playing a game as I'm recording this with hundreds of people using our models. The models, which by the way have 12K triangles. These are real models. These are not, something thrown together with a low poly count. These are the models that we're going to use for the finished game. Now the models aren't finished themselves, but the idea of 12K, that's our limit. And look at the performance of this engine. Look at how we are having now hundreds of people in a network battle, not just the earlier demo which showed a 500 or 1,000 models running around, but in a real live network game. And when I say a live network game, I mean across the entire world. We have people coming in from these tests from all over, from New Zealand, from all over Europe. I know we've had some from Asia, all playing. That's what we can show right now. Imagine what we can show in 2 years. Now, before I go, one other thing. Andrew, he kind of has built engines before. Skyrim was one of those games. He also worked with Troika on their engine, and he also worked with Mythic on our engine. The guy knows his stuff, and our demos will show you that. Well, we've come to the end, and thank you so very much for listening to me. I apologize that I've spoken so long, but I know that as this Kickstarter winds down, you're probably not going to have the time to read all the foundational principles or see all the videos or read all the material that is up there from my chats or my markathon or my interviews. So I kind of tried to focus here on all the core issues. So again, thank you so much for listening, and my apology again for speaking so long. But now that we're coming to the end, I want to ask you one thing. Do you want to take a chance and support a different MMO? That's the key question. Camelot Unchained is not for everyone. If you're looking for PvE level progression, if you're looking for a hand-holding game, if you're looking for a game that has every modern convenience, we're not the game. But if you're looking for a game where RVR is the focus and crafting is the focus at the same time, and they're intertwined so tightly, if you're looking for a game and a team that will do anything to make this happen, you've come to the right place. Because yes, we're on Kickstarter asking you for money, but here's the kicker. I love that, kicker to Kickstarter. I'm putting in $2 million of my own money. The day we fund, that money comes into the company. I also have another $1 million from investors. So I'm not standing here and saying, oh, just give us money. I'm putting my money on the line as well, and my investors. That's how much I believe in this dream. Now you have to ask yourself, do you also believe enough in what you heard today to support us? If you do, I thank you very much. And if you don't, that's okay as well. But at least look at some of the other foundational principles for this game. Look through all the material we put out, and then maybe you'll see we're trying to do something different. And I really hope we'll have your support, because Camelot Unchained is an awesome idea. And it's just not me saying so. Look at the articles that have been written about the game already. Look at the excitement we have. Go into our comment section. We have over 80,000 comments. We'll have more by the end of this campaign than any other game. Does that mean you have to back us? No. But it does mean we have a lot of people who believe in this, and I hope you'll be one of them. So again, thank you so very much for listening to this, and I hope that one day we'll see you in the Vale.